Sometimes, if you listen really hard, you can almost hear it.
Our first ever instant star is...
You're it, girl. You're the real thing.
That moment your life changes.
It's about a girl who is just about to fly off and see the world.
Forever.
Jude Harrison!
Well, hello and welcome to The Breakdown, an Instant Star Rewatch podcast. I am here with my co-host, Sam. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Chloe. I'm good. How are you?
I am good. It's early, but I'm good. And today we are recapping Instant Star episode 101, Even Better Than the Real Thing. Original air date, September 15th, 2004. Or if you're in the USA, July 1st, 2005. I'll just read the synopsis from Wikipedia because we're being all fancy today.
Okay.
So the synopsis of Even Better Than the Real Thing is Jude Harrison enters G Major's singer-songwriter contest called Instant Star. She was so nervous, but then she ends up winning the contest. From this point on, her life is no longer normal. Her sister is extremely jealous of her, and her friends don't know how to act around her. She discovers that her producer is Little Tommy Q from Boys Attack, and that he is very hot.
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have.
What did you think of the episode? First impressions? Well, like millionth impressions because we've all seen it before.
Yes. Honestly, I was like, it's not one of my favorites just because I watch so many like singing competitions. I watch American Idol, I watch The Voice, I watch The X Factor, I watch all of them. I watch all the singing competitions. But at the same time, it's interesting to see it done in a TV show because you see the very end. You don't have to start at the beginning and watch like 20 weeks of the competition. So I like it. It's not one of my favorites, but it's not one of my least favorites. I'm just kind of in between with it.
Yeah, I mean, it lays the groundwork for a lot of things to come.
Later. Yeah.
Like, well, we'll go through our recaps in a minute, but I think I was watching it last night, and obviously it's interesting now with all the other musical TV shows that have come out, like Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana, and Nashville, which was huge.
Yes.
Like, this came out before any of those shows. I feel like it laid the groundwork for those kind of TV shows to come out.
It really did, and what was so different from Instant Star compared to those is, what it had in common with Hannah Montana or Miley Cyrus was, yeah, she was a student, she was a teenager, this, that. But Miley Cyrus had that whole secret double life where Jude was, this is me, this is what I'm doing. And with Nashville, they were already in their careers. They were already big and popular, and this was kind of the start of her fame. So
yeah, well, I mean, my very short recap is obviously it opens with Jude, who's nervous to perform, and she says that she has to do this because, as Jude says, she wrote her first song when she was 6, got her first acoustic at 10, and it's barely left her hands since. And obviously she wins Instant Star over Eden, who's like super pop.
Yes.
She has to prove herself at G Major, especially to Little Tommy Q. We're introduced to Little Tommy Q, who was in a very 90s-esque boy band.
Very much NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
Yes. And despite her, hating Tommy Q, she falls pretty hard for him pretty quick.
Yeah.
We meet Jamie, who's her best friend, and that really kind of lays the groundwork for their friendship, but also something I didn't realize until last night. It lays the groundwork for like his adoration of Jude.
Yeah. I noticed that too when I rewatched it. I'm like, I actually put that in one of my dislikes. His sense of like entitlement to Jude and her music.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I put that on my dislikes as well. We meet Sadie, who's jealous of Jude's success, which is like a recurring theme as we go on.
Mm-hmm.
We meet Kat, who's just like the generic high school best friend.
Mm-hmm.
We meet Jude's parents, who I think lay the groundwork for like their fragmented marriage, which again I didn't notice until I rewatched it this time.
Right. I didn't I remember thinking, well, it's kind of weird that her parents are disagreeing so much already, but as I've rewatched the series, I'm like, well, there's a reason they stuck that so heavily in the first episode.
Yeah. We see Jude struggles with fame and having like a normal school life.
Mm-hmm.
She's also completely blind to Jamie's advances, which I didn't notice until I rewatched it, but we know obviously becomes a recurring theme throughout the entire show. She struggles with her musical integrity, which I think is the theme of the whole episode, is like, before you become famous, your musical integrity is yours because, you've never kind of shown your songs to anyone, and then someone else who's been in the business comes in and says, well, you need to change everything. And it's like, well, do I need to change my entire song? Like,
Right, and like she has to deal with her song being covered, like what she's like, Cat, they're playing my song on tubas.
yeah,
She has like a little freak out over that because the school band is playing her songs.
in a way that she absolutely despises.
Yes, which I think any song on tubas it would be a bad idea, but that's just me.
Yeah. She obviously performs her newly worked song 24 Hours after kissing little Tommy Q,
Yes.
and then she quits. I'm not sure if that was just like a threat from a 15-year-old or if she actually did quit. But Tommy convinces her not to quit because she's even better, which I think ties into the episode title.
So my recap was 15-year-old Jude Harrison wins the first ever Instant Star TV singer-songwriter show. Now she has to prove she can be G Major's star. She's teamed up with Tom Quincy for her writer-producer. With her first gig as a signed artist just a few days away, Tommy has one goal: rewrite her song that's not ready. Jude faces her first week as a signed artist. Really basic, bland.
Yeah, no, I love it. I thought it was a good episode. I mean, I think it's hard to say a pilot episode is a bad episode because then you wouldn't keep
Right. That, and they have to put so much into pilot episodes to get people to come back.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly.
a lot of times, and even though we talked about last time how many times we've seen it and all that, a lot of time with pilot episodes, I feel overwhelmed. I don't really feel that with this because yes, they put a lot into it, but they don't put so much that it's like, well, what? Hold on, let me rewind. What just happened?
Yeah, I don't want to use the word simple, but it's effective as a pilot without you thinking like, whoa, like what happened in the last 22 minutes?
Very much so.
Let's get into our likes and dislikes. Oh, actually, let's talk about the theme first. I thought the theme was integrity. What did you think?
I thought it was integrity, and a big theme I got from it was Tommy's faith in Jude from pretty much day one.
Yeah, I guess that ties into integrity because
Yeah.
he can see that she's so passionate about her music, but he
And
can
what
also see that she has more to give.
and what we learn later on is Tommy isn't just that 90s boy band. He's a singer, he's a songwriter. He has more to him than what has been shown to the
Yeah,
public and what's in the tabloids. And but he never pursued it. He was knocked down by the people in his life
yeah,
to when it came to his own music, to his own songs. And I think that's one of the reason he has so much faith in Jude is because A, she's 15, B, she has all this integrity into music that I think he just knows she's got it. She's even better than the real thing.
yeah. And also his ability to be more than a boy band
Mm-hmm.
member plays into like Jude and Jamie, who are essentially 15-year-olds. Like
Yes.
they're thrust into, well, Jude's thrust into the spotlight, where she realizes that someone that you've perhaps mocked from your bedroom about being in a boy band
Mm-hmm.
actually has been doing a lot more behind the scenes
Right.
that
He
you
has
never
a lot.
saw.
Yeah, he has a lot more substance to him
Yeah,
than the posters on the wall, your sister's bedroom wall, or what you see on eTalk or
yeah.
whatever.
But I also think the theme of integrity ties into who we'll say are the heroes and the villains. I'm interested to see who yours are for the episode. But integrity, we have Jude, who's written this song that she won the contest with, which is very like acoustic and folky and
Mm-hmm.
simple, maybe. But it was
Yes.
good enough for her to win.
Right.
And she loves it. And Jamie loves it, which we'll get to. And
Mm.
here's Tommy saying, basically, like, this
You
is what
won.
you won the contest with? What?
Yeah, you won a contest with that.
Yeah. And he sees that she's obviously talented and can do a lot more with her music. So he's trying to
Mm-hmm.
push her in that direction in a kind of jackass kind of way. Like he's not exactly particularly nice to her in the beginning.
No, I don't think he can be though, because I think that's part of the problem. Is I think even Georgia to a point is nice to her,
Hmm.
and her dad is nice to her, and her mom is nice to her, and I mean even if we know her and say we can tell from the beginning that her and Sadie don't get along. But even Sadie's nice by going out and supporting her and this and that. She doesn't really have anybody that's not nice to her about it.
Yeah, and then there's Jamie, who's like
Kisses her ass.
like he's in the studio with her for her first kind of introduction to Tommy. And
Yeah.
he's giving her this look when Tommy says she needs to rewrite the lyrics. It's like, why do you get a say? Like,
Yeah. Like,
butt out.
what? Who are you?
I
I
think
don't know.
I think our recaps are gonna highlight how much we do not like Jamie.
I cannot stand Jamie. It's funny because my villain this episode would probably be my villain for many episodes.
I like who Jamie becomes, but he has a long road to get to who he becomes.
I don't even really like him until the series finale. Like that was
Wow.
the first time I actually liked him.
Like season 4, season 1.
Like season 4.
Jeez.
I mean, I tolerate him and I don't become such a hater like season 3, season 2, but I don't actually like him to the series finale.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But what do
It's
you
not even till late in the series finale, like his last scene.
Yeah, that's really funny actually. Well, what do you think of Kat? Because we meet her as like the generic best friend, but something I really loved watching the episode back last night was their little like girly gossip in the hallway at
Yes.
school. I'd never noticed it before, but I was watching it last night and was like, oh, this is how I used to talk to my girlfriends at school when I
Yes.
had a crush on a way older guy. And Kat was just like, well, what if you aren't making up how he feels? That's exactly what we used to say to each other.
Yes. I like Kat, and this is really controversial because I know Kat is either loved or hate. And for me, Kat is great for what she is. Knowing what I know, and I don't want to say too much because of what happened, but when I first, when I watched it the first way through, the very first time through, I didn't like Kat. But as I've grown older, as I've grown up, I've come to actually really like Kat, and I've come to love her and Jude's relationship just because I have had cats, like you said,
Yeah.
in the school hallway, at work, at church, and just things like that. And I want to say more, but I don't want to say more until we get to those parts.
Yeah, I was trying to like watch the episode as if I'd never seen it before, and I was trying to treat the characters as if I don't know what happens with them.
Yeah, I was like, this is really hard.
Yeah, but Kat. So let's treat Kat as if we don't know where her story goes. I liked her in this episode.
Yes.
She was the role of like the soundboard for Jude, and it worked well because Jude has a crush on an older guy. Yes, he's a lot older than her. But I had crushes on much older guys, and I used to talk
Yes.
about it like that to my friends.
Yes. And I like that Kat is so different from Jamie. Kat doesn't, I mean, she cares about Jude's music, like she's there as a fan and a friend and things like that, but she doesn't act like she has some claim to it. The only claim she made to Jude was as Jude's best friend, which I'm sorry, I had guys and Gars say that to each other, all claiming, to be the best friend. And so I really like Kat. Like pretending I don't know where her story goes and what happens. I really like Kat.
Same. More than Jamie at this point.
Oh yeah.
Well, to end the topic of the theme, how do you think Jude maintains her integrity? And do you think she maintains it because she does end up rewriting the song?
I think she does, just because you can still have integrity but know that things have to change.
I like that. Yeah.
I mean, because you don't have to change everything. If you really believe in something and you think, like, say, if she really thought that 24 hours was perfect the way it was and didn't need to be changed, she would have fought for it harder.
Yeah.
And there must have been something about it where she agreed that it wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Because she gave in pretty easy to changing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
I don't think it was because Tommy was telling her. I don't think it was because Jamie was telling her not to. I think she knew there was something in the song that wasn't ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into our likes and dislikes.
Okay.
My likes. First of all, Jude's hair and makeup. Oh my god. Maybe if I'm brave enough, I will post a picture on our social media of when I dyed my hair bright red because of Jude Harrison. That might come.
Oh, you should.
I wouldn't mind when I have one terrible photo from my prom. Like the color is great, but the style not so much. But maybe I will. Jude's hair and makeup. Like this was exactly the look that I had at that age. The clothes, everything.
Mm-hmm. I had to. So, okay. I graduated in 2007. This was like when college kids and high schoolers could just join Facebook. So I don't have any of my high school pictures up. But I have to go through my pictures. Yes, I still have them like printed out and on film.
We're showing our age now.
Yes, we are. But I have to go through and see if I can find mine from when I had like my Jude red and did that whole style.
We should so do like a side-by-side picture of us.
Oh my gosh, we should. I have to find mine.
That was a big like for me. I
Mhm.
still aspire to dress like Jude.
Yes.
I also loved Tommy seeing Jude's talent. Like, that's something I hadn't noticed until this time watching it. He really does see that she is super talented.
Mhm.
I love the 24 hours performance. I got chills. Like, no matter how many times I watch it, I still got chills.
Mhm.
I loved Kat and Jude discussing Jude's crush on Tommy because
Mhm.
I remembered my little high school self.
Yes.
And I loved Jude and Tommy at the lake. If that
Yes.
even was a lake, it looked more like a harbor, but she said it was a lake.
Yeah, I'm like, is that a lake? Is that a harbor? Is
it a
that an
beach?
ocean? I don't know what that is, but that scene forever lives in my head rent free.
Yep. What were your likes?
I love the rewrite of 24 Hours. Even though we never actually heard the original, except for like little snippets here and there. I just love 24 Hours.
Same.
I mean, it's crazy because season 1 has some of my least favorite songs, but then it has some of my favorites. And
Yeah.
like 24 Hours is one of my favorites. Like you said, her hair, her makeup, her style. I love like her season 1 and season 2 style. Just because even still to this day, I'm all about like the jeans and the tank tops and the
Same.
studded belts. The performance of 24 Hours. And I really liked when she just kind of smacked Jamie down a few pegs and told him that she only wanted to be friends.
Yes.
Because I'm like, that boy needs to be smacked down more than a few pegs, but I'll deal with this for right now.
Amazing.
Yes.
My dislikes.
Oh, that was my likes.
Sorry, I didn't even ask you if you'd finished.
No, I thought I was my dislikes. I'm like, wait, those were my likes. Never mind. Okay.
My dislikes, I really disliked Jamie's inability to embrace change. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she even says it's not our song, it's my song. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have an opinion. I really didn't like Jude's mum being so overprotective. And I think this is going to cause controversy when we delve more into this series, because I'm going to sound like my mum was not a very protective mum. She just let me do what I wanted as long as I told her where I was. So I have a big problem with Jude's mum getting so OTT about the pictures at the lake. Like, they weren't even making out.
And see, what's so funny is my mom is totally different. My mom is still very much overprotective. But I have a major problem with Jude's mom just because I live the overprotective life. And I'm just like, let the girl be 15. It's not that big of a deal. I promise she's okay.
Yeah. And I guess I had a, like, my mom and I would have told her if something had happened if I was Jude.
Right.
But I guess Jude and her mom do not have that relationship.
Right. And I think that's a lot of it too, is I'm really close to my mom. So if I had been in that situation, well, I mean, like when I was in that situation when I was 15, it wasn't so much with an older guy, but like, I told her when I was going out with friends or when I was going out with my boyfriend or, what we would be doing. So she wasn't so much, where are you going, but she had to know where I was going, what time I would be home, who I was with.
Yeah.
And so it was overprotective to an extent. But like if we met up with some friends that I didn't originally say would be there, she wouldn't really care.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see listeners' thoughts on what we think about that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My last dislike is I really disliked Tommy's hot and cold response to Jude. So when he first meets her, he's pretty harsh. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Don't you ever call me little Tommy Q again? We need to change your song. He picks her up at school and he's like, you're playing at the Vinyl Palace. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, really. Like, he
Like,
treats
be
her like,
excited for me.
yeah, he treats her like a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
But then he's flirting with her at the lake.
Mm-hmm.
He rejects her when she kisses him because she thought he was flirting with her at the lake. But then he tells her that she's amazing after her performance.
Right.
So is he actually playing hot and cold? Or is it what happens when you're 15 and you have a crush on an older guy and you just read all the signals wrong? Because I've done that before.
I was gonna say I've done that before, and it could be she thinks he's flirting and he doesn't realize either he is and he doesn't realize it, or he's not meaning to, and she's just got the signals all mixed up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure if he's just an older guy jackass or if she's just being a 15-year-old and being like, oh, he likes me, and actually he doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Like, one, it's weird because even going back now and rewatching this episode for the first time in like 2 years, 2.5 years, it's I even couldn't really tell. I was like, wait, is he flirting with her? Is he just being super supportive? I mean,
Yeah,
oh
I've
my
had older
God.
guys when I was that age that, well, I actually think they were jackasses, but they would act like they liked you, so you'd play into it, and then they'd be like, whoa, you're way too young. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
did I read too much into it, or were you just getting a bit too interested and then you realized I was too young? I don't know.
Yeah. Has that happened a couple of times?
What were your dislikes?
Mine are a little bit opposite. Mine was Jude's attitude about working with Tommy before really getting to know him.
Okay.
I just felt like she was very well. We had talked about it earlier, where she just imagined like what she knew from his past and what she had seen maybe in the tabloids or on like the music TV shows. And then Jamie's entitlement over Jude and her music.
Yeah.
I just it's really funny because my little brother's name is Jamie, but I have a really big issue with Jamie. So it's really it's funny because every time I'm watching the show, I'm like, wait, hold on. It takes me a minute. I'm like, okay, I'm watching this Jamie. I'm not. If I go to like talk about it with somebody, they're like, what? I don't remember Jamie doing that. I'm like, no, not that Jamie, a different Jamie.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm dubbing this segment as funnies. So, like, just really kind of retro moments throughout each episode. I only have two for this one, which is the CD case titles for season 1. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
So retro, but so good too. Like, CDs were such a thing.
And like the bubble letters on the CD.
Yeah. Love it.
Yes, it was
the other one,
so
of course,
great.
is the fashion, because this aired in 2004, 2005. And whereas I love this early 2000s fashion, but also, like, what was Eden wearing on stage? What was that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know with Eden in general. But what she wears, I really like the one time we saw her, I'm like, honey, what are you wearing? I mean, especially together, maybe one or the other I could have handled, but all of it together, no.
I feel like she was kind of ahead of her time. I feel like that would
Yeah.
be more popular now.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like Kat, she makes some very questionable fashion choices.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Yeah, the
My big
fashion.
one for this would be like the cell phone technology, the little flip phones.
I miss flip phones so much.
I do too, and it's so funny because now they have like that new razor out, but
I haven't
I'm
seen
just
that.
yeah, they have a new razor and it has like the video camera and everything, but I'm like I kind of want it because my first phone was a razor.
Oh my god, I need it.
But I'm like, these phones, I can't.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna see a lot of retro stuff as we go through that we missed because we grew up then, but young people just
Yes.
be like, what?
What? You got what type of phone? You did what with those phones?
But then another segment I'd love to kind of do for each episode is what I call the what the fuck moments. Where I'm watching it now and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yes.
I have 3 for this episode. 1, why would Jamie and Kat be backstage at a Instant Start? Like,
Yeah.
why were they in the bathroom with her above like her parents or anyone else?
Yeah, why were they backstage and her parents were out in the crowd?
Like, I know it's for
Like,
the story, but
but still, what?
they could have had her parents say those lines instead.
Yes.
Or she could have even just said them to herself in the mirror. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was a what the fuck moment for me.
Yes.
Another what the fuck, and I've always wondered this. Are Georgia and EJ a couple?
I have always wondered that.
Like, maybe
Because
yeah, I don't know.
I kind of think they aren't. I really do, but I don't know. And I don't think it ever says.
It never says, but I think that they are.
I get I majorly get couple vibes.
Yeah. Same.
This I always have, I always will.
Yep.
And that will probably be the instant Star Hill I die on, that EJ and Georgia were a couple.
Yeah, I'm here for it. And I truly believe that they were. It was just never explained.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last what the fuck moment is when Jude's in her dressing room before she performs. There's like a handwritten sign on the door that says Jude Harrison. And it's so like handmade. Would that really be her dressing room sign? Like someone just kind of sketching her name with a pencil? I don't know.
Don't know. But those are awesome what the fuck moments.
Do you have any what the fuck moments?
I think my what the fuck moment, but also it's one of my favorite moments, is Tommy randomly yelling in the middle of the crowd with everybody around while Jude's performing. He yells to Jamie, "Does that look like her bedroom to you?"
I love that quote though.
I laughed so hard at that because nobody else can hear the rest of the conversation, but that part is super loud.
But that quote ties into the integrity. He sees that she's not in her bedroom anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what she's capable of, and Jamie can't get out of
Can't get out of the bedroom, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a kind of what the fuck moment. Let's get into our heroes and villains. I think we probably have the same ones for this episode.
Probably.
My hero was Tommy because
yes,
he sees how talented she is and he convinces her not to quit.
Yes.
Do we think she quit, or was it just like a 15-year-old?
I think it was a 15-year-old temper tantrum.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't think she would have quit.
No.
And I don't think she could have quit. So
So Tommy is my hero because he sees who Jude can become. What about you?
Tommy was my hero.
Who was your villain?
For the same reason. Jamie.
Same.
Yeah.
Jamie just...
I have a feeling... Jamie.
He's being
Dang,
like an
EJ.
overprotective best friend. Like he doesn't want to lose who Jude is. Even in the first like few minutes, he says, "Don't let them change you." It's like, whoa.
Yeah. He's just coming off like a whiny little bitch to me, but I mean, overprotective best friend works too.
Yeah, that's probably the nicer term. Well, let's rate the song. Do you want to
Okay.
get out of 10 or out of 5? I'm not sure.
I had a 7.
Out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I had an 8. So the song was obviously 24 Hours, written by Alex Johnson and Davnett Doyle. I gave it 8.
Mm-hmm.
You gave it 7. That's pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good first introduction to the music.
Yes.
And to this day, I can listen to it and still love it.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the ones where I'm like not really in the mood to watch the show, but I'm in the mood to listen to music. I'll automatically go to my playlist or go to Spotify and just hit 24 hours to start the playlist.
Yeah. And the lyrics are very like, 15-year-old, I don't care what you think kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a good first song.
Yeah. Overall, I think it's definitely a good first song. It was a good song to have in the pilot. It gave us a good taste of kind of what to expect, who Jude was as a songwriter,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wanted to introduce another segment, which I'm titling Pop Culture, because when I was watching last night, I realized how much like pop culture references they talk about. And
Mm-hmm.
I've seen this done in other Rewatch podcasts where they discuss the pop culture in each episode. There's a few
Mm-hmm.
from this one. Obviously, the episode title, every episode title is from a different song. And even better than the real thing is from a U2 song, which I didn't actually know. I had to look it up. Jude is obviously named after the Beatles song Hey Jude.
Yes.
I love when EJ says, I'm going to put my complaints on record. And Georgia says, put them on MP3. EJ for like MP3 players were obviously a digital audio format that was all the rage in the early 2000s.
Yes.
I loved my little
Before
MP3
iPods.
player. Yeah. Do you know, I'm 30 now and I've still never had an iPod.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I had like the Walkmans and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Jude says, when asking about who her producer is, Billy Joe from Green Day or Tim Armstrong from Rancid. Billy Joe is obviously the lead singer of the US rock punk band Green Day, and Tim Armstrong is from the US punk rock band Rancid, which I guess shows her kind of musical direction, and they just steer her in a different direction completely.
Yes.
Kat says, have you been watching Dr. Phil again? I've never seen Dr. Phil because I don't live in the States, but it's obviously a popular US talk show, which
Oh my gosh, so
started in
popular.
2002, so I guess it was really popular when this was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's actually gotten like more popular each year.
Has it?
Yes. It's ridiculous.
We had similar things in the UK. I'm not sure about in Australia though. Jude says Kurt Cobain made Nevermind at 23. Obviously, Nevermind was Nirvana's second iconic album in 1991. Oh, my one true love. One of my favorite quotes from the whole episode is Kat saying that Tommy Q is like an Orlando Bloom sundae smothered in Johnny Depp sauce.
I love that line.
And when I Googled it last night, the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie came out in 2003, and this episode was released in 2004, so I guess this was all the rage back then.
Mm-hmm.
I love that line so much.
Yes.
Jamie gives Jude Joe Strummer's guitar pick, and Joe Strummer was the co-lead vocalist from The Clash, a very popular punk rock band.
Mhm.
And then Jamie's saying to Tommy that Jude and Jamie used to listen to Sonic Youth in Jude's bedroom, and Sonic Youth were a US rock band. So I love that all of the kind of band references in this episode are super like punk rock. And
Yes.
Tommy's just this like boy band person.
Yes.
That is pop culture from episode 1. But I'd love to know what your quote of the episode is.
I actually had 2. The first one was just because it speaks of the integrity, and I just think it's funny, but it's such a almost an ode to Jude and about her journey. Is that the one where Tommy says, "Does that look like her bedroom out there?" to Jamie,
Mm-hmm.
and then my all time one of my favorite lines from quotes from the whole series is working on a song is like falling in love.
I had the same one.
At first it's a rush, but then it gets painful, and sometimes you gotta walk away, and sometimes you come away with something beautiful.
Yeah, that was my quote too.
Yes. I love that quote.
Yeah, and it lays the groundwork for Jude and Tommy and
Mm-hmm.
their working relationship as well as their relationship.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. We didn't talk about the kiss. Oh my god.
I know. I
What
was
did you
just
think?
thinking
Like,
that.
did you think that she was out of line or
I think she was a 15-year-old who thought that was where it was going.
misread the signals?
Mhm.
But also, he did come and put his hand on her shoulder and
Yeah, and
say,
so
"I'm
again,
here for
it's
you."
like was he flirting with her? Was he just being overly friendly? Was he, like I said, I don't even know at 34 years old if he was just being flirty or what he was being in this episode.
I'm interested to see what we think about, like, because he does kind of behave in similar ways in other episodes. We'll see what we think as the series goes on.
Mhm. I mean, like, I know in later seasons it's obvious,
Yeah.
but in season 1, there's a few episodes where it's like, I don't know which way I lean. Was it her? Was it him?
Yeah.
Are they both getting signals mixed up?
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. But hey, power to Jude. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have had the balls to kiss my
No.
producer and someone that much older than me just like that.
Mm-mm.
So good for her.
No. Yeah. What did you think of it?
I mean, it's an iconic scene, obviously.
Yes.
I just thought, good for you. Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
brave enough to try it and get rejected. Like, I guess she had the 15-year-old kind of that power that you have as a 15-year-old where you just do things and you don't think about it. You don't have the same
Right.
fear that you do as a 30-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah. But obviously it's iconic. I love that scene.
It is iconic.
We're going to end this episode with a little game of Most Likely To. So Most Likely To is this online game where you spin this virtual wheel and it says, gives you an option for Most Likely To. And then we're going to choose a character from the show that we think would be most likely to. Most likely to say something inappropriate accidentally while unmuted. That's a hard one.
I'm gonna have to go with Cat.
Okay, I was going to say Jamie because I
Yeah.
often say ridiculous things.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really interesting though, because the show that we're watching, Zoom doesn't exist. So
That's right.
unmuting themselves would not really be a thing. Yeah, I'd have to say Jamie, and I understand Kat as well.
I was gonna say I was going back and forth between Jamie and Kat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Well, that is the episode. Do you have any closing thoughts?
mm, no, I was excited to like sit back down and like actually start watching this as if I've never watched it again.
Same. I'm
Because
trying to
it's been
watch it
so
through
long.
new eyes.
Yes. Because now I'm sitting down with my notebook and I'm like, okay, I have to like pick apart and remember exactly what I want to talk about. So I'm paying a lot more closer attention and picking up like little small things I haven't ever picked up before.
Same.
Mm.
Well, next week we'll recap episode 2, which is Come As You Are. I like the upcoming episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is our recap of 101, even better than the real thing. Really hope you liked it. I think we have a good format going forward.
Yes.
Yeah. But please let us know if you liked it. We're on Instagram at instantstar_the breakdown. And we're also on Twitter.
At IS the break underscore the breakdown.
Awesome. Let us know. We also have an email address, instantstar.thebreakdown@gmail.com. So you can email us. You can rate and review. I'm still working on Apple Podcasts. It's being a bit weird. But once we get it, you can rate and review us there. We'd love to know what you think because this is fun for me. I'm loving this already.
I am too. And the first episode, the Meet the Host episode, is up on Spotify. I got to listen to it on the way to lunch because my mother was like, "Oh my gosh, your podcast is up!" I was like, "Yay, thanks, Mom."
I mean, I guess a little disclaimer going through this recap podcast, all opinions are just our opinions. Like,
Yes.
we don't represent the entire fandom, and maybe what we say sometimes you won't agree with, but maybe we'll try and have some other fans on the podcast at some point and they can share their opinions. That would be interesting.
Yes.
But yeah, if you haven't followed us on Spotify yet, please do. And I'll put all the links in the show notes to this. And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to The Breakdown, an Instant Star Rewatch podcast. The Breakdown was produced by me, Chloe, and Neon Network Production. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and listen to all episodes of The Breakdown on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. See you next time.